Alright. Theoretically, I'm live. Theoretically, we are currently live on YouTube. Let's see, we have 0 concurrent viewers, as far as I can tell, which is fine. Apologies for being a minute or too late. I'm still getting used to this weird YouTube streaming setup using OBS instead of Streamlabs OBS. We're actually even going to play a little bit with stream design on the stream today, because I was doing that a little bit of the day, and then I got lazy and I didn't do it. So we're just going to do it live. Hello, for those of you who haven't been here today, let's start off this thing. Let's pretend that I'm a real content creator, even though I really don't love that term. If you've never watched one of these streams or a video before, I used to stream on Twitch. I was doing it for months and months and months, now, or weeks at least, and now I'm doing it on YouTube. I am an audio plugin developer, software programmer, also work at Bungie Game Studios during the daytime regularly, at least right now. Author, teacher, all sorts of stuff. You can find my content. My name is Adam Croft, is obviously the name of the channel. You can find my content at adamtcroft.com. You can find me on Instagram at adamtcroft, at adamtcroft, or instagram.com/adamtcroft. I'm not really on any other platforms. Don't enjoy the Twitter anymore. I don't ever log on to Facebook. See, there's a place to find me. AdamTCroft.com, Instagram.com/AdamTCroft, and whatever this YouTube channel is, which is currently tinyurl.com/AdamTCroft. The music that you're listening to is a gentleman by the name of Black Moth, BLAKMOTH. You can find all of his stuff streaming. This album is called Dust, and it's going to be on loop, hopefully, if I did it right. You would be like, if you did it right, why can't you, how do you not know if you did it right? And the problem is that on iTunes, it's really difficult to see, oh, okay, it looks like I'm repeating all. The iTunes interface in dark mode, the Apple Music interface, is really difficult to tell what you're, like, if you're repeating all, or if you're like, how that's working. So, hopefully you should be able to hear this. Hopefully everything's live. Hopefully you can see what's going on. Yeah. So what we're going to work on today is I've been dealing with a delay plugin for the better part of 4 or 5 months. Broke the feedback algorithm in it. We're going to fix that today. We're also going to make the stream look a lot nicer. Add the chat into the stream. So that means one of you, whoever's watching, is going to have to chat, because it looks like we have 1 concurrent viewer, which is sweet. So hello. Nice to have you. Yeah, so let's get to it. I'm going to get to Stream Elements and log myself in. We're going to like put some content up on this deal so you can actually see what I'm doing. Oh, apparently like Stream Elements, I'm such a streaming noob. It's like, oh yeah, with Stream Elements, if you're logged into Stream Elements when you're live, you can like see stuff that's going on and modify things, and yeah, it'd be great. So I'm trying to get to overlays. Again, I'm a genius at how good I am at doing this stuff, and this is gonna be real entertaining, let me tell you. My wife is now making faces at me off camera, and she's looking real funny. She's never actually cameoed in a stream before. She says, no, as soon as I say cameo, she's like, no, and walks away. Oh, there we go. My overlays. That's what I'm looking for. This is not going to appear on the screen, except a couple minutes later, it will. Let's see. Change the name. I want to change what the text says. Change what the text says. At one point, I was like really smart with using computers and knew how computers worked. And then that day passed. It was great. That's not how to change it. I feel like a genius. So, it looks like there's one of you watching. You should say hi. I'll say hi back. It'll be great. You know, should I just put this up there? Should I just show how much of a goofball I am at Stream Elements? Not yet. Shortly. Shortly we'll do it. And it'll be great, because one day, somebody will look back at the stream and go like, wow, you really had no idea what you were doing. And I'll be like, yep, that is absolutely objectively correct. How in the world? I have a bit of so what I'm describing to you that I'm not showing on the screen is that I made a layer. I put text on that layer. I changed the text. Now I don't remember how to change the text again. So I'm going to delete the text, add some text. Okay, my text goes here. I'm going to have to learn how to do this at some point. Okay, I just did a thing. Well, now I don't know where the text went. Oh no, okay, it's up on the top left corner. Let's put it down there. You'll see what I'm doing in just a minute. I swear. As I scratch my back. Custom font. Can I do that? Now Stream Elements is completely locked up on me. Let's just see. Should use Google Fonts. Make this bigger, because part of the fun of this is advertising to people whose work is a part of this. Okay. Now let's save that. Let's pull up OBS. That is. Let's enable the browser source. Well, bam! Look at that. It's like I'm amazing and I know exactly what I'm doing. Supposedly that gray box in the lower left is going to display some text when people chat. Supposedly. We lost our concurrent viewer. Hi, nobody. It's great to have you on YouTube. It's great to be with you. That's fine. Some days, like today is a day that I don't really want to stream. I really want to lay on my couch and do absolutely nothing. But can't do that. So it is what it is. What's up, Saffron? Nice to say hi to you. I'm going to... I gotta tweak on this a little bit. I know this is like the most exciting thing in the year. You're probably gonna see it as I do this. Oh no. It's fine. Whatever. Also, this font on Stream Elements is like way too small for the chat box. Way too small. Position, size, and style. Let's make it wider. No, I don't want to drag it to the left. Why am I so bad at computers? Also, the stream text is not showing. The chat box text is not showing up accurately. Nick is saying things, but those words are definitely not showing up on that little chat box. Oh yeah, if I have to save it for you to see it. Okay, now I've saved. It looks better. Not quite perfect. Alright, well, you did see me earlier today, Nick. We were on a Zoom call together. It was a good time. Okay, that's good enough for now. I've got the music stuff up there, so I can give credit to Jack, which is great. Give credit to Mr. Black Moth. And then we're just gonna go through and work on plugins. So let me make the text bigger so you can see what's going on. Alright, so now you should be able to see that easier. I was really looking forward to being able to see the chat and stream elements, but now it doesn't look like. Nick, you can confirm if I'm wrong, but it looks like your username is showing up, but your actual text is not showing up in the chat box, which is lame. At some point, I'm gonna have to watch a YouTube video and figure this out. I like this music too. Huge fan. My buddy Black Moth's the man. He's on Instagram, BLKMTH, no vowels. DM him, say hi. He's a jovial, wonderful gentleman. Wonderful, wonderful gentleman. Okay, so the problem we got, let's build the plugin. I'll tell you what's going on. So here it is. It's doing well. As you can see, last time we were working on some UI, we made some rectangles. I learned the coolest thing ever. I really loved learning how to make this little line. It's a pathway. It's a drawn path. So it isn't just the rectangles or squares like these are. I can draw a path and customize it and stuff. So that's super, super, super cool. I'm really happy with how that turned out. I like all the colors. I like everything that's in here. The thing that's going on right now is if I turn this feedback all the way up, it does not repeat like it should. Let's see if I can play it back on the stream. Preferences. Let's just make sure the Reaper's set up correctly. Should theoretically be okay. Let's mute the music. Mute the music. Let's see if this will play. And I need to pull up OBS to make sure that you're getting sound. Well, no sound's coming out, so that's useful. Okay. Okay. You should hear that. And that's fully wet. Yeah, okay, and it stops. So, I want, like, somehow this feedback is not working. So let's play with it a little bit and see what it sounds like. Oh, now weird. It's coming out of my left channel only. Why is that happening? Well, that might be a part of our problem right there. That's information I didn't have the other day. Yeah, that's really weird. That mix shouldn't be. Ugh. Oh, this just got really ugly. Now I got to figure out where this weird panning is coming from. What if I do feedback all the way up? What happens? Okay, so it's something in the feedback. Yeah, it drifts. That's really weird. Okay. Interesting. And yes, Black Moth does have really nice album covers. I cannot complain about a single piece of output that Black Moth puts out, quite frankly. I at some point I'm gonna start doing interviews on this channel, and it's gonna be interviews instead of just programming streams. We'll do programming streams, but we'll do interviews as well. And sorry if that blasts out your ears. Let me know how bad the difference in the audio volume is. at some point I'll be doing interviews on the channel, and he will be one of the people that I interview because he is one of the most interesting musicians I've ever met. His process for making content is absolutely ridiculous. He uses no computers, just to let you know. As you listen through this content, as you listen to the music in the background, a computer touches his music only when he uploads it. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane. Okay, so something is weird with the feedback, that it's drifting to only one channel and not two. Let us close, not Xcode, but close Reaper. Properly quit Reaper. I was debugging samples, so we can see what's going on. I don't think that's necessary. Okay. So I don't know. I think my suspicion is not true, but my suspicion is that this make copy of is doing something weird where it's not copying both channels or something. Kind of have the desire to write my own copy here. There's just something weird happening. Because I'm doing, let's make sure, doing a wet dry mix. I'm doing insert feedback is happening on channel 0. Do I not take? No, because it should be getting, okay, so this is where I insert the feedback, right here. This is taking the data from the DAW that we're processing and putting effects on. It's taking the feedback, aka the last pass through the DAW. It's taking the feedback parameter value, and it's taking getnum samples from the buffer, which actually should be processed data. Getnum samples. It should all be the same, but let's just make sure it's okay. So it should just be effects buffer. Effects buffer .getnum samples. Okay, so it should be that. Hey Matt, how you doing? I'm so excited to say hi to you and have you watch me program things. That shouldn't change anything. I can't feel my fingers. I'm glad that you're enjoying the music, sir. It's a good time. I've got to do my best at some point to get this camera on all our individual calls. That'll be great. It hasn't worked yet. So let's see. I'm going to turn down the master so you can't quite hear it. I should be seeing a weird signal. Yeah, it's still on the left. If I shift it, it's on the right. Thanks, Matt. I appreciate it. I hope you're having a good weekend, buddy. And then if I shift it left, signal on the left-hand side only. Okay. Something weird going on. So this is where I'm putting the feedback in. What should be happening is that we're getting our channel numbers, which are 0 and 1 for the left and the right channel. It should be going up in channel number. We should be getting the actual left and right channels here. And then it sends the data properly because this is the left and the right channel. It happens once for each channel, so. I'm glad you're enjoying this. Most people find this programming, like this kind of stuff, really weird. What I'm doing here, let me show you, Matt, what this is. I'm going to turn down the music a little bit, so I'm going to kill your vibe, but I'll bring it back, I swear, I promise. Oh, it's not building. Let's build again. So, let me turn down the music a sec. So we've got this little thing here. So I've literally written this whole plugin right here. It delays the signal that's coming through the DAW here. And for some reason I can't hear it now. That's weird. Quit. If I pause the music and let iTunes not run. I'm sorry I'm killing your buzz. I'm so sorry I'm a buzzkill. This is what I do. I'm just a buzzkill. Alright. Oh, it's just because it's quiet. Hopefully that doesn't kill your ears. Oh, interesting. There's even another bug in this thing I just found. Alright, I'm going to bring your buzz back, Matt. So, effectively what this piece of software does is, like, delays the signal and then makes it sound like Space Invaders at the same time. So, you know, if you got a guitar and, like, you've got a delay on the guitar and it sounds all spaced out and crazy, I can program with that. Sweet. And program to make it sound like Space Invaders. But now I'm finding like 4 bugs in the program that I didn't realize that were there before. So we're going to try to fix that. You should definitely light candles. You should also light incense to go with the candles, because if you've got more scents, it's better than just 1 scent at a time, right? Right? Isn't that how that works? Also like whiskey or something too. Just zone out. Okay. What do I want to fix here? So I've got a mix of the Bit Crusher that is actually removing all of the sound, period. Why? And so I don't want that to happen. Everything's broken today. People can see names on streams, but not the chat text. People can see the program is functioning, kinda, but not correctly. Everything's slightly broken. It's fantastic. We're in a great place. Okay, so we processed the Bit Crusher. That. Show code actions, we're going to jump to the definition. This is the process, and the process, this is where we are removing the volume. We have the mix of the Bit Crusher. Oh. I know what's occurring. Okay. So, what I'm doing here is getting the data from the DAW, and instead of making a copy of it, I'm acting on the main data itself. What would be better is if I made a copy of it. I think. Let me go back and look through that, because what I want it to do is to have a clean signal come through without crushing the content. Effectively, I just want the dry signal to come through if there's nothing. Okay. So yes, that's what I would want to do. And to do that, I don't want input buffer times whatever. I gotta think through this. buffer at this point. I don't think. Because that's just a volume change. What I'm doing is acting and distorting the audio no matter what, and I'm either just turning it up or turning it down. And what I want to do is mix. It's like a wet dry mix, effectively. Ooh, can I use that? Because I have code to do that already. Let's see, where did I put that? That's the question. It's not in the interface defined. It's audio offers. Copy channel, insert feedback, wet dry mix. Output buffer, signal to mix. Okay, so yeah, I should like make a copy of it or something. But it's a pointer pointing to the input buffer at this point, which means that I can't really make a copy of that. I guess I could, because it's not the actual data itself, it's a pointer to the data. Yay, C++. I love everybody who is so entertained by that. Let's see. Is there another way to do this? That's the question. Effects buffer. Oh, I can just send the output buffer. I think. Because process data. No, because the output, okay. And they don't want to acquire another buffer while in runtime, because that will jack up things. 3 viewers, look at this. I know the hacked way I can do it. So let's do that, shall we? The hacked no good way. I don't really want to do this a hacked way, though. I'm very entertaining giving you silence, but also allowing you to listen to music, so I guess that's good too, right? I should put the album cover on the stream. I don't know if I can download it. I don't think I can. Let's see. Let's see. That'd be fun. Oh, it's not on his Bandcamp. Interesting. Fast. Alright. So there's absolutely no way to get the album cover on there. So I want to have a dry version of input buffer. I want to have a wet version of the input buffer. Currently, I'm just acting on the buffer itself. I'm not doing the wet dry mix. Maybe if I make a copy of the current float. Let's try something. I don't think this will work, but let's try something. No, because if I do float, I'm just thinking through it. If I do flip on your dry signal equals input buffer, there's no copy there. It's just pointing to the original signal. That sounds very relaxing. Except I ruined the bath by talking. So the way in C++ pointers work, so you have a set of data, and then you have a set of data, and this is for some reason the metal horns are the data in this case. It can't. If you have a pointer, you have an alias to the data. It's not the data itself. It's a shortcut, like a Windows shortcut to the data. And I can make lots and lots and lots of pointers to that original data, but it's still the original data. So if I make a change to the original data, then I don't have a dry anymore. So what is the code as a wet dry? It's output buffer sample plus signal to mix sample. So maybe I just act on, maybe I make a wet. This is what I think I do. Not this. That this is remainder, put buffer I times remainder. We do result here. Flow result. Okay. And then sample rate divide. Is the bit rate sampler. I mean, bit reduce there. Input buffer I minus I divided by 6. So that's fine. So we had, and then what we want is, we want to define flow rate reduce before. Reduce. That'll be a different sound, though. That'll be interesting. And then, so now we have a crushed sample and our input buffer signal, so we can do this thing. This will probably work. Sample. Then we can take a float. Float. We don't need the block size because this is literally just a single sample. What's up, Fred Max? Thanks for hanging out. Don't worry, I'm just poorly programming a Big Crusher play program. Doing a really poor job of it. Sample. The wet dry parameter is crusher mix. That should be better. No matching. Is that because this is a flow pointer? Stream Elements has really let me down already. Where like you can see that people are chatting, but you can't see the actual text of the chat. I wonder if I'm just missing something. Let's look at that. It says show messages permanently. That's what I want. Dark chat, checker chat, white chat. Let's try white chat. Nope. That doesn't work either. Dark chat. Can't pick the colors of the text chat. Oh, it looks like I can actually. Let's see. Pick a font. Oswald. The size of things bigger. Yeah, Yeah, for some reason you still just can't see the text, like the text of the actual chat itself. It's so weird. Here, I'll make it bigger so you can look at that. It's so odd. Okay. Let's play this back. Let's see if I did the job right. Not really enthused with the idea of that. I mean, I don't think this is actually. I think it'll work. It's just not going to work the way that it should, like efficiency-wise. Okay, not crushed. Yeah, it works. Oh, no. It got auto-muted. Why did it get auto-muted? Up. Clamp value. What's going on? Man, it is like super broken today. I don't know what happened there. All right. Well, let's try again, shall we? Oh, it looks like I even broke the stream chat. All right, we're going to go into Stream Elements and turn this off. I'm going to have to fix this another time. This is hilarious. Hilarious. I'm so bad at this. Let's turn off the layer. Can I do that? There we go. Save it. Hey, Josh is in the house. How you doing, sir? All right. How are we looking? We're still breaking shit. What have I done? I swear this was working like 3 days ago. Does it get mad? Okay, so it just breaks in general with the 3-value slider now. We are completely busted on the 3-value slider, and I have no idea why. How's your day going? What time is it in London right now, Josh? Is it like crazy late? Seems like it would be crazy late. I want to mess with the 3-value slider, but it's like, just freaking everything's breaking. Let's go to our other Reaper session that is actually the Reaper session that I normally use this on. Why not? No, it's still going to be an issue. This drives me nuts. Like, I don't even have the part of my code where this is an issue other than the mouse input just in Juice code in general. That's horribly frustrating. Oh boy. All right. Well, 10:50 p.m. That's not too bad. It's a little late. It's almost bedtime. Let's turn the music back up. Actually, well, the wet dry mix it seemed like was working correctly, even though I think that's probably the poorest thing I've ever programmed in my life. Just because I'm not thinking on my feet today. Simon and Garfunkel. BitCrush is like barely working. It's really hard to hear without the rate reduction. And it seems like we're getting this mostly in the left channel. Oh, Josh, I have like 4 problems going on right now. So, okay, I think the balance issue is the feedback slider, for sure. Yeah, the balance issue is definitely the feedback slider. Because if I turn the feedback all the way up, it's fine. So, here, to outline. Here's the at least 3 problems that are occurring. Well, 2 problems that are occurring. Is feedback slider is jacked up. It's not actually working correctly. When I drop the feedback slider all the way down, we get feedback in the left channel but not the right, and then the feedback does not continue occurring. Sample rate reduction slider, it's really just a sample and hold. If I click anywhere on this 3 value slider, there's a crash now. Like it just in general crashes. I don't know if the motion slider will work. Oh, apparently the motion slider works. So now let's see if I click the thumb. If I click directly on the thumb now, that worked. Okay. Somehow I fixed the 3 value slider. That's weird. So there's something there with that that's broken. But so then if I turn this on, that sounds fine. But it's only coming through the left channel because of the feedback. Yeah, okay. And then this wet dry works. Okay. So it looks like the issue is mainly the feedback coming through primarily the left channel. Something's wrong with that. And there's a 3 value slider potential bug. But if the slider isn't all the way to the left, let's try. No, can't repro it now. Okay, so I'm pretty confident I know part of why the feedback issue is happening. Let's turn the music back on because I love to support my dear buddy Black Moth. Again, blackmoth.bandcamp.com, BLKMTH on Instagram. Send him a DM, say you love his music because his stuff is the best. It's the best. Okay, so clearly I'm doing feedback wrong. Let's take a look at how I'm doing it. And actually I can clean up my plugin processor now because I don't need the crush buffer. Because I was going to program that poorly. I just did the mix poorly, it's fine. So in the processor, we have 3 buffers. Yeah, 3 buffers. We have the buffer we get from the DAW. We have what I'm calling the effects buffer, which is the buffer that all the effects are being done to, right? Which is just a copy, if I recall. Yeah, it's a copy. So up here on line 183, we're making a copy of the effects buffer. If I talk through this, I'm sure I'll find out what's going on. On line 183, the effects buffer makes a copy of the buffer that we're getting from the DAW itself. So we get a new set of samples, 512 samples from the DAW. The effects buffer gets completely overwritten via make copy of, or it should. This initial catch line is to initialize the feedback buffer in a wonky way. Feedback buffer only exists to grab and make a copy of the most recent set of data from the effects buffer, because the effects buffer is going to get overwritten here on line 183 before we process all the channels. Which I'm sure that I'm somewhat complicating it, but this is just the way that my brain effectively works, and I can always make it more efficient and streamlined later. Program it poorly, learn how you're programming it poorly, and then fix it later. It's fine. So we have effectively a dry buffer here is output. We have a wet buffer here is process data. And then we have the feedback data, which is just carries a copy, a persistent copy of what's happening to process data. Because what I wanted to have happen here, as you can see, is that we first insert the feedback, then we hit the delay algorithms, then we make a copy of the feedback buffer before we hit the bit crusher, so that way the bit crusher doesn't get incredibly unwieldy or just sound like an ass. But it looks like make copy of here. I bet I kind of know what's up here now that I'm thinking about it. Maybe. So my assumption was that I bet this make copy of works on 2 channels, but it works on all the channels. And I think I just lazily programmed this such that, so this is flipping through one channel at a time, this forward is flipping through one channel at a time. And really what I want to do in that case is not make a copy of the whole buffer, I want to make a copy of the current channel. Which I would bet that the juice algorithm doesn't have a single channel copy. Let's just go through. Get magnitude, copy from, no it does. Copy from destination channel, destination. Okay, so this is what we were doing before though. And copy from failed AU val. Which is why I got away from it. This would be the correct way to do it. Destination channel, start sample, source, samples, gain. This would be the correct way to do it, is destination channel, destination, start sample, source, and samples. I can try again, but I feel like AU val is going to fail on that. But we can try it. Because that's technically the right way to do it. Destination channel, let's do copy from this one. Destination channel would be channel. Yeah, so Josh, the problem I got, I'll show you. Let me finish typing in the function. I'll show you where AU val failed. We'll maybe even get the chance to make AU val fail. Destination start sample would be 0. Float source would be process data, and then num samples would be effects buffer dot get num samples. So where I was failing the AU val tool before was, I believe it was this JSERT call, because size was different. Like this part of the assert call was not correct. So let's build this and run it through the AU val tool and see what occurs. Let's edit the scheme. Let's not set the executable to Reaper. Set the executable to the AU val tool. Arguments, so the AU val tool will see it. Let's go ahead and build and run, and let's see what it does. Maybe, hopefully AU val tool will work. Failure, yeah. Where do you set the size of your other buffers? I think in the prepare to play, if I recall correctly. We'll see. Yeah, so this fails because num samples of the buffer is 4096, or the num samples I've sent of effects buffer is 4096, and then size is something that isn't evaluating. Let's see. Expression is size. Size is 512. So, right. That's correct. Okay. So, this would be actually then feedback buffer getting them samples, but I think that's wrong. Okay. Let me talk this out. So what's happening is feedback buffer and effects buffer are different sizes at different points, if I recall correctly. So I'm setting the sizes of things because the size gets set of the buffer. Is there a reason why you're setting the size of your other buffers to a size other than the size of the main output buffer? It's just from copies. So let me show you. The effects buffer gets sized to the size of the buffer from the DAW just by a copy. And then feedback buffer gets set to the size of the effects buffer based on a copy, but I think it's only setting once, it looks like. That's what it was, because that's why I did make copy of, because the effects buffer or the feedback buffer never got resized to the size of the effects buffer. So let's output this and then I'll show you. I'm going to be horrible and do debug statements in the processor because I'm amazing like that. Well, I don't even know that I need to do that, but let's just confirm it. Feedback buffer dot get num sample. Actually, we got size, right? We got a size here? No, we can't get it publicly. Get num samples. Actually, I can just tell you. I don't even have to go through this. No, I'm thinking about it. Because there's no place where the effects buffer gets, where the feedback buffer gets resized. Because what happens is it sees 0 samples here, and then we do make copy of effects buffer, but at this point effects buffer's size is only 512 samples. And then it seems like the size of the effects buffer... Oh, it's not that the size of the effects buffer changes in the DAW, in Reaper. It's that it fails a eval tool because of the tests. That's right. Sorry, I'm thinking I faced this problem a couple weeks ago, and then ran into things. So if I'll show you in a eval tool. So Reaper is constantly sending me 512 frames, so it doesn't actually fail in any of that. Yeah, it's so what's happening, I think, yeah, because it's constantly expecting something that's at least 512 frames. So 64 frames works, 137 frames works, but then 4096 fails because the first time through the plugin, the feedback buffer size gets set to 512 frames because it does the render test at 512. So anything under 512 works in a eval tool. So it's effectively that I never reset the size of the feedback buffer mid playback. It's always getting set right at the top, assuming that this is not equal to 0. And I don't want to make a copy of the effects buffer ever again. So maybe I shouldn't be making a copy of. Maybe I should be getting the size of the effects buffer and just resizing based on the size of the effects buffer. Maybe that would be wise. Now that I'm thinking about it out loud. Let's see here. It's not equal to the size of effects buffer dot get num sample. Let's see. Get num samples. Then I can do feedback set size. New number of samples, new number of channels, new number of samples. I don't want to do that. Well, let's just see what happens. Effects buffer dot channel, getting up channels, getting up samples. Maybe it'll work. What I don't quite understand is why you need the effects buffer to be larger than your output buffer. I don't think I do. It's just that I never, well, I guess I could constantly make it the size of my output buffer. The thing that's happening with AUVal tool though is it's effectively not stopping playback and then restarting. It's like doing a render test and everything, the size will stay persistent on everything. But I can do buffer.getNum samples and set that at the very beginning. I guess I can do that. But so is there any place... I'm just thinking out loud here. If there's any place where I can get the size of the buffer prior to hitting the process block. I don't think that there is. Because in prepare to play, I don't have the size of the buffer yet, right? Prepare to play doesn't give me anything like that. Oh, it gives me samples per block. So I guess in prepare to play, I could set the size of the feedback buffer here. Let's try it. But then I also don't know the number of channels. Oh, I would get total number of output channels. I do, okay. So let's try it. Because Josh is a genius. Get total number of output channels. The only reason you'd need a buffer larger is if you need to have memory that would play something from in the past. And no, not in this case. Because it's acting as a feedback, but it's not. I don't need that many more samples. Let's try this. And then what I could do is just completely get rid of this, theoretically. And then make copy of in this case, or copy from in this case, should theoretically work. Josh with the live debug alley-oop. Let's try it. Look at that guy. This is why Josh is the smartest person who programs plugins on the entire internet. Thank you, sir. Walking me through those thoughts. Okay, so then let's make sure and see if it actually works in the DAW. The Audio Programmer, ladies and gentlemen. TheAudioProgrammer.com. Buy his course. There's a plugin programming course on his website that you should do. I haven't taken it myself yet, but one day, before too long, I will. It is on my list of courses to invest in. No, I don't want that in applications. Reaper. Reaper is by far, now I am learning, not a great debug environment. Reaper will let things go that other environments do not. Yeah. Let me just plug Josh's stuff. Audioprogrammer.com, where he's got an audio plugin programming course there that uses Juice and C++. If you ever want a plugin programmed, he is also your man. Also his Audio Programmer Discord, also his YouTube channel. Yeah, you definitely don't want to allocate set size in your audio callback. That would allocate memory, which would cause a block. Yeah, totally. Yes, I am following what you're putting down there, which I appreciate. Which, in fact, I could do the same thing with the effects buffer. Which I don't know if I need to do, but I could. Well, let's just let it play. Let's see what's going on. Let's pause the music. One day I'm gonna get myself a Stream Deck and have buttons that I can do all this fanciness with. Oh, here's the thing with if I click the sample rate reduction slider, the sample and hold slider, this is gonna crash. But let's just see if the feedback works now. That's a way to bring that up. Well, I'm still getting a weird... Left channel is louder than right channel. That's odd. Is it consistent? If I go completely wet. Oh, interesting. That's odd. Okay, but at least the feedback is working better now. Seems to be. Yeah, feedback is working. Just only in one channel. I bet I know why, now that I think about it. Alright, let's start the music back up. If the music and the DAW are two completely horribly different levels, please totally let me know. I can't, this is the most horrible thing about streaming, is that you just don't have any context for the output volume of things unless somehow I am listening to YouTube on another situation. Okay. So copy from is working on the destination channel, destination start sample, source, and num samples. So this should be hitting every channel. Wet Dry was working on two channels earlier just fine. But we can try to isolate it. I'm thinking about taking out the Wet Dry mix and just working on making the output data equal to the process data. You can think about that. I don't know that it's in the Wet Dry mix though. Use the juice algorithms to do, juice algorithm, the buffer. I never do like .add from. I think I really legitimately just want to copy from in this case because I really just want the complete wet signal. Samples would be effects buffer.get samples. This should make it completely wet. Let's see. Or it doesn't play anything at all. Interesting. Okay. This shouldn't do anything at all. Okay, so that partially isolated the problem. So it's definitely the process data is only in the left channel, which shouldn't be occurring. This is so weird. I wonder if I take out the feedback, if we'd still have that problem. We shouldn't, but I bet we do. Nope. Nope. We do. Okay, so that's the dry. And that's the wet. In that case. Okay, so maybe it's the... So it shouldn't be the feedback algorithm in this case. Maybe it's the bit crusher. Because that's the other thing I've been tweaking on. I'm surprised this is so broken. It was working so well before. So let's get rid of the bit crusher. Turn Jack's stuff back on. Build again. I should have just left the music off. Okay, so now there's no bit crusher in the line at all. Nope. Nah, it's still messed up. That's weird. Why is that occurring? Thanks, Josh. Take care, and hope you have a good night's rest, man. I appreciate it. And thank you for helping me fix a crazy bug too. I'll get the other one worked out. Oh man, this is driving me crazy. That's interesting. So if I move around the wet dry mix, it gets louder on the left channel. I'm down. You know my email and how to get me. Just tell me what you want to do, what you're thinking about, and I'll be there. Happy to. Anytime. Okay, so clearly what we're doing is we're mixing one signal that is being affected only on the left-hand side with the dry signal. But for some reason, okay, when we're fully wet, you've got the full effects chain going, and that only has a left channel and no right channel. If I'm fully dry, we're bypassing everything, and it's just giving me the dry signal. Because the buffer itself should be a dry signal. I hope you appreciate my stretch and my thoughts as I stretch. In fact. Oh, I've been out of focus this whole freaking time. Is that better? No, it's worse. Ah, hey, look, I'm in focus now. Shocker. Way crazy. By the way, I think that's happening is because the number of samples from your output buffer is different from the number of samples of your effects buffer. All right, well, we can give that a shot as well. You've solved all my other problems today, Josh. Why don't you just solve all the rest of them? So if we go to the prepare to play, and then we do effects. So when you're copying from one buffer to the other, you're going to run into issues if one buffer is larger or smaller than the other. That is true. Buffer dot set size, get total number of output channels, and then samples per block. I love that I have like lots of streams where this is working properly, and the one day where everybody shows up that I wasn't expecting is the day that things don't work right. But, I mean, one of my favorite things is failing in public. Like, quite honestly, having things inconsistent and busted is actually very entertaining for me. All right, let's see if this, at least the buffer size helps. So we're still getting left. But, I mean, setting that size is in the prepare to play is the better thing to do. So, that is 100% true. Somewhere I'm only sending samples to the left channel. Which makes not a lot of sense. Look at it with music in the background. Because why not? Okay. So that's where I missed the process. It's also really difficult to see this when I'm used to the theme of the editor theme being smaller font. So it jacks up all the formatting. Okay. In fact, I think what we can start with is just iterating over total number of input channels. Oh. On the prepare to play or on the... Oh. That's true. I think... Is that how juice comes by default? Because I don't know that I ever changed that code. But... Thanks for catching that. Man says he's gonna go sleep and then just keeps helping debug me. I mean, I could have changed it and broken it, it's fine. No, it has to be that I busted it because he's got it right here. Safe. I was thinking that well, here, look. Let's do one thing. It should all this should be the wet dry mix algorithm should be the issue. Let's see what insert feedback looks like. You're like, I want to debug your thing live. I don't even remember. Oh, yeah, because this is the feedback from... this code was originally from the Cadenza course that I have then pulled to separate out from the delay itself. That's what my insert feedback looks like. It could be a block size issue. But it should just be doing channel at a time. Unless I'm screwing it up and not giving a channel in here. But it shouldn't. That shouldn't be an issue because the float pointers are just the channel itself. It's just adding the feedback buffer times the feedback parameter. So it's a mix plus a parameter. This makes me want to like get rid of everything but the wet dry mix. I feel like that must be the issue. And it would help me certainly isolate it. You play with that. Because now we should have the same signal no matter what for both the dry and the wet. Well, it wouldn't. No, that's not the case. We should have silence. Because it's not giving me... The process data doesn't do anything. Now let's find out. That's weird. Am I copying data? Feedback value, wet dry mix, process data. That's super weird. I don't... Oh, it's because the effects buffer is making a copy of the buffer. I wonder... So there is data in that effects buffer no matter what. Because... going through the process block. We've got the buffer with new samples. The effects buffer is making a copy of the buffer, which actually shouldn't need to occur here. Seems like. Because if I'm making a copy of the buffer itself, it's just the exact same data. Which, if I'm then... If I have two copies of buffer, one from the DAW and one in effects buffer, and then nothing happens to the effects buffer here, and then we hit output, we hit process data. Output is the left or right channel of the buffer, and then process data is the left or right channel of the buffer. And then we hit wet dry mix. Oh, and then we hit effects buffer not clear. That's what's going on. This is the bug. This is it right here. I'm clearing the buffer before it hits the next channel. That's exactly what's going on. That's the bug. Yeah, because it loops through twice. It should just, if this is going to need to be cleared, it should be cleared down here. That's exactly the bug. That's the problem. Watch. Come on. Reaper hotkeys. Yep. So now we're good. Same. Yep. That was it. It was clearing the buffer before it was doing the right channel. That's all. Because I wasn't paying attention to my clothes braces. Fixed it. All right, let's undo some of this stuff. Take away the comments. And that should all be good. We won't bring the music back because we're going to hit it again. Okay. Let's do something silly. And now the rate reduction, well, it's not working. It's not mixed up. And now this sounds like a horrible detuned piano bit crushed weirdness. Perfect for sound design. Could also work for music. Probably not as well. And then we jack the feedback all the way up. It sounds just horrible. Thank you. Appreciate it, Josh. And then we can mix away the bit crusher, which is perfect because the feedback does not include the bit crusher, so it doesn't get overwhelming. Great. Thanks, Josh. I appreciate all your help, buddy. Thanks for helping me through that. Hope you have a great rest. Rest well. Take away the feedback so it doesn't kill anything. Yeah, rest super well. Have a great night yourself. All right. It seems like we have it back where we wanted it. And we can just bit crush or not. I don't think I want the bit crusher to go through the feedback algorithm at all, but now I can control whether that does or not. You know what? Let's see how awful it sounds. Let's have fun. So if I then do this and put it in the signal chain after the bit crusher, then we will get the sound of that. And see how horrible it sounds if the, if the crusher feeds back on itself. And then we'll test out the AU Val tool too. Oh, let's turn off the motion. Okay. So, and now put it to free time, set the feedback all the way up. Let's see what happens. Woo. Woof. What I like here. It's loud as hail. You can always put a gain slider over there too. I like the bit crusher feeding back like that, but it just gets too crazy. It gets way too crazy if I do that. So we'll do it that way. And we get 20 more minutes until we're done with the stream anyway. Nice that this is actually functioning. Okay. Oh, yeah, that's what I want to do. Here's the big thing I want to do. Let's turn the music back on and build us an AU Val tool and make sure that it works. So it's an AU that works. If you don't know what AU Val tool is, which I guarantee like 99.9% of you don't, because Josh is now off the stream. AU Val tool is a Apple provided tool that is effectively a testing suite, testing application for AU plugins. So okay, so it still passes, it still validates, it's great. That means it's not going to crash when it gets into Logic or GarageBand or something like that. So that's fantastic. Ugh, I want to walk away for a second and get some water and stuff, but I also don't have like a be right back picture on OBS yet. So I'm going to step away for 2 seconds. Actually, yeah, just 2 seconds. Okay. I was all of 2 seconds. Just thinking, looking through thoughts. let's look at our to-dos. So we fixed feedback. Maybe I'll get to the bit crush slider responsiveness. I think I need to have a further conversation about that. I don't think I'm going to add a ping pong delay to this. I think like this. So here's the thing. I want to put this thing out. I want to get it out. I want to get it out in Windows, AU, and VST, and leave room for upgrades, so I can consistently upgrade the free plugin. So I think I'm going to leave a bunch of stuff out. That's going to take some time to develop, so I can put it out and leave room to improve it. So I think literally, probably the last thing I'm going to do is the thing that's bothering me is the bit crushing really only starts working at the bottom of the slider, at least if you're in Reaper. And then if I were to put a motion slider onto the bit crush slider, then if you decide to rename the motion parameter, it's cool. No, I like it. I think motion is a very good name for that, so thank you. The problem comes in if I add a motion slider to, let me just show you. Everything's better when it's visual. People understand things better visually. Info, debug. Executable. Let's go back to Reaper. Not desktop, applications. Reaper. Choose. Close. So I could add a motion slider right here. And in fact, I have been asked at one point to add a motion slider to every single slider. I think that's a little overkill, but it would be fun to add one to the bit reduction. But the problem is that the bit reduction slider is logarithmic, and so therefore it doesn't have this like smooth action up and down like the sample rate reduction slider and the delay time sliders do, because those are linear sliders. If I do free time, let's see. Yeah, it just slowly traverses up and down the slider because those sliders aren't as messy. They are linear, I believe. Whereas the bit reduction slider is logarithmic. So if I make this move, it's going to go slowly down and then go real quick at the bottom and then come right back up. And go slow, slow up and then go real quick at the bottom and then come right back up. And I'm not good at calculus, so I don't know how to resolve that. Excuse me. I don't know that that's something I can resolve. I can resolve quickly. So I've got two options. I can either figure that out, or I can just say screw it and then upgrade it later. Just kind of how you might have noticed. You probably didn't. I've taken away you can't resize the slider at the plugin anymore. It doesn't. It won't let you reslice it. Whoa, temple. It's just a set size now because the UI was getting so complicated to get to a proper size that it just didn't make sense anymore. It made sense to just fix it and get it in order. That's a bug too. It's not paying attention. If I have this free, and I close the effects window, the effects window back up, it's not free. Still moving, but the free time button is not catching. This plugin coming out on Mac. I would love to show this plugin to a few of my friends. Yeah, it's on Mac. If you want to download the Mac version of AU or VST right now, it's broken. But the development builds, you can go to suspension.adamtcroft.com and get a development build. It does not have the latest stuff that this has. You'll get a development build with both AU and VST. So that's another bug, is for some reason this free time button resets when you close and reopen. There's a lot of little things to catch in plug-in programming development like this. Excuse me. Yeah, the parameter is reset fine. Let's see how it happens when we hit play. Interesting. And even the visual of the painting of the delay time is busted this way. So it resets when you open the plugin back up. Okay, let's add that to the to-do list, shall we? Fix the state such that the button stays clicked between close/open.
We learn what development is curious thing. We learn
Check the state of painting.
an ego is not the same thing as a particular living form. In my philosophy, the living organism
Using movement slider. Time. Okay, so those are two bugs I got. Only 2 to 3 bugs. 2 to 3 things to work out.
What we call our ego
Do you believe?
is something abstract, which is to say, has the same form, kind of,
All right, my friends. I think we've got to a good stop. Square family.
hour,
So,
inch.
thanks, Nick. I'm actually going to end the stream right now. You've got a good time. Appreciate everybody for hanging out, tuning in, saying hi, chatting, fixing bugs with me, whatnot. Once again, music provided by Black Moth, blackmoth.bandcamp.com, BLAKMOTH.bandcamp.com. You've been listening to for the last 2 hours is Dust. It's a super good album. You can find it on iTunes, Apple Music, whatever you call it now. My stuff is adamtcroft.com, instagram.com/adamtcroft. You can find courses, books, stuff, things, other YouTube videos if you plug in pictures and articles. Write a newsletter every Monday. Audio plugin development, audio, professional audio, all that stuff. Feel free to say hi. Reach out to me in a DM. Look forward to talking to you soon. Thanks for hanging out on the stream, everybody. It's been a good time. Glad to fix. We fixed a bunch of issues. We found some other ones, but we fixed a bunch. This is great. And I'll put out a new development build soon. So until then, take care. Thanks so much. See you soon.